Hi everyone, I am Srijita Sengupta and we are here to welcome all you in our first episode of live podcast show, Candidly Speaking. On this show, we'll be candidly speaking with our guest speakers with some really interesting topics and this show is gonna be really fun and interesting and candid as we don't have any before chatting with them and our today's episode is totally dedicated to the person who has done several good internships and has done the and has cracked the SDE role at a very good company, Razorpay, and he is none other than Mr. Divyansh Singh.
Hey, Srijita, hey everyone.
Yeah, Divyansh, welcome to our podcast show, and really thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Now I would like to add my co-host Rajat Mondal.
Thank you, Srijita.
Yeah, my part has been served for today, and now I would like to leave, and Rajat and Divyansh will continue the show.
Thank you, Srijita.
Thank you, Srijita.
Yeah, so before starting anything, let me just take on YouTube if it is going or not. Last time it was
Yeah,
not started yet.
sure.
Yeah, it is working and I'm monitoring it on the different tab. So firstly, welcome. This is actually, frankly speaking, this is our second meet, to be honest.
Yeah,
We just had a talk about the timings when we will be available or not, as you were busy. So before starting anything, I will ask you to introduce yourself to our audience. So if you have anything extra to add, then you can add it.
sure. So, hey folks, hello everyone. My name is Divyansh Singh, as Srijita and Rajat just told you, and I work as a full-time SDE at Razorpay, and I'm basically from Prayagraj, Uttar Pradesh. So that's a short, quick intro about me. So yeah,
Okay, so that was nice. So you are from UP,
yes,
but I was going through your Instagram and I saw there is written Bangalore. So you are currently in
yeah. I
Bangalore.
was in I was in Bangalore for around 4 months or so, but I came back. We'll be going back to Bangalore in some time.
So you're currently doing work from home.
Yes.
Yeah. So are you loving it? The work from home
Yeah,
part.
I prefer more about. I'm more into work from office for now. Maybe
That is
later I
actually
may
a
switch
good
back
thing.
to. Yeah, maybe later I
Yeah, the
switch
work
back to
from
work
office
from
thing
home.
is good. Yeah, you go first.
Yeah, what I'm saying is maybe later I may switch back to work from office, but switch back to work from home. But for now, I prefer work from office.
Yeah, so work from home, we don't have any human interaction. So I just
Yes,
sit in my room all day and do all the work here. Yeah, and there are
yeah,
Gmates and all, but yeah, they are not really good because we can't see anyone's faces because they don't turn on their videos.
exactly.
That's actually a pain in the ass. I mean, literally, that's the hardest part.
That is something that we might want to consider in the future.
So can you tell us when you started working for Razorpay?
So I've been working as an intern for like 14 months. I started back in 17th May last year and started as a full time this year itself in August. So it's been 1 month like working as a full time at Razorpay and just loving it.
So, when you were an intern there, what were
Yeah.
the kind of things that you worked on there? I mean, did you work on any real life project or did you work on any task that they had given? Like, I heard this that in Facebook, when you were hired as trainee or intern, they give you some task other than the projects that they really work on for the end users. So, is that like that? Is it like that?
So yeah, for like when I joined as an intern back then, so basically it was 1 month where I was given like several tasks apart from the products we were working on. So to just make a grip on the code base that we had there. But after 1 month or so, I started to work on live projects, released some of them, and just learned a lot about learned a lot those days, I would say. But yes. Uh, it's about like for 1 month or 2 months they put you into a training period where basically you get yourself familiar with the code base they have there about different technologies that we use and entire code structure that we have in it. So later on when you start feeling or you once you get comfortable with the code itself you start working on the live project itself. So yeah.
Okay, so got that. So if I have to take you a little bit back from the from your
Mhm,
Razorpay day or your any kind of internship day, back to your
mhm,
college first year. So
mhm.
do you wish if you could have done something a little bit differently to, I mean, to be a better person now? Like your college is ending, you are in your fourth year, you have
Ye-
completed your fourth year, you just didn't
Yes,
had your graduation certificate.
yes.
So do you wish that you could have done anything differently?
I would say कि I should have gone explored more about Bhubaneswar. I did very less trips, I should have explored
Yeah,
more. Yeah, so that is something that I sort of regret, but there's always some time that you can put it into. But college days are college days, I would say. So this is something that I really miss. That I should have been more into traveling those days back then. But yeah, rest everything worked quite well for me, I would say.
okay, so did you know program languages before joining college, or do you introduce yourself to programming after
So
joining college?
So I did have knowledge of Java back then because that was the core subject in our school for class 11th and 12th. So I had basic knowledge, but when I joined college, there was an entire year where I didn't even, touch a single code language. So I would say
Yeah,
I
I
started
know.
from the scratch beginning back in
So,
second year,
so
I would
let me
say.
guess by your statement, like you had Java or as your core language. So you are from ISC code.
Yes,
Yeah. So a lot of my friends are from ISC code and they had Java. So they
yes.
were like crazy about Java, and I don't really like the language because it has too much boilerplate. Like I have to print a line for that I have to write 10 more lines.
That
Yeah,
is true.
so that
That is very much
yeah,
true.
so I don't really like it because of that. I mean, we have to do things efficient and fast. So
I would say that the Java that we use now, in projects is completely different
yeah,
from the Java we used to do back then in school. So
yeah,
that is
got it.
something,
Because there are
yeah,
some frameworks like Spring Boot, and all that
yes,
stuff.
yes, yes.
For that, yeah, Java is included. I heard that, but there are still some people who don't agree that Java is actually a good programming language.
There are always, two types of people, one who love the
Yeah,
particular language and there are others who oppose those. So,
there will always be hater of a
yes.
specific programming language. Like I used to work in JavaScript, and some people like my previous boss was like JavaScript is not a programming language. He used to tell me straightforward, and I am like I am working in JavaScript. I am creating a product, and you are saying it is not a programming language. So yeah, there will always be two kinds of people. Yeah,
But
I agree with
it's a
that.
good thing somehow. Like there should be competition. Like it's not a good language, it's a good language. That creates, that results in an innovation or something. But that's always a healthy
Yeah,
topic to discuss on.
yeah, that is true. That is I agree with. But for people like us who are just starting out with the language, I think we should stick to one language. Like if you like Java, you should stick to it. If you like Python, you should stick to it for greater purpose. Like if you have to build something from scratch for a like a product for of yourself, then you can build it yourself. You don't have to go here and there. Like some people, I saw some people like my own classmates. They are what they're doing. They are learning 5 programming languages simultaneously. So what happens is, if I tell them that can you do it, he says that I can do it in this programming language. So I say this is not the kind of answer that I want. I want to know if you can do it or not in a project. So yeah, that is that is a discussion in it itself. So let's not go
Yeah.
into that. But I want to ask you like, how did you? I mean, what kind of things that you learned during your Razorpay days? What are the kind of stacks you work on?
So yeah, I would say like I learned a lot when I did projects of my own, but I learned twice or thrice of that when I joined Razorpay as an intern. I learned a lot about. I explored different, multiple things like how code works in when you go live and when you go on production and things. Uh, Usually, what I used to do is I never followed a specific, convention or format while writing my code. But at Razorpay, we do follow a specific, format, although you are free to create of one of your own, but there's always a good thing to follow a pre-planned strategy that helps when some new joinee joins the organization. It's more helpful to for him to understand that code because it is being followed by the same pattern throughout. So that is something that I learned a lot about tech stack. I would say I started working in JavaScript. I continued working in JavaScript in at Razorpay also. Used React.js as my library, uh, primary library, I would say. But later on, got to work on TypeScript and Java and Spring Boot. Currently working, also trying to contribute into backend as well, along with alongside with front end. So for front end, I would say we have multiple things. Got introduced to Material UI, got introduced to Chakra, got introduced to Zostand, and there are multiple things that I couldn't, just remember about. But I learned a lot about different things in front end. I would say whether it be about different, versions of that keeps on get released. I keep what I used to do was I used to stick on a specific version and just code on that entire thing. But later on, when I used to upgrade something, things used to break. So later on, got to know like how to manage those things and stuff. So yeah, learned a lot, I would say.
Yeah, so upgrading to one code base to another is really difficult challenge, specifically when you are working in Material UI. Like I did a code in MUI 4 and then it upgraded to MUI 5, and I was like, I have to redo it all over itself. So it was really challenging. But yeah, after that I stopped using Material UI altogether. I just use Tailwind. I say it's a lot easier. So yeah, the front end is a C itself, because I myself is a front end developer, so I know what are the kind of things that you get to know. I mean the things you say, front end, back end, or in production, whatever you say, like the server itself. That is I mean that is bigger than C, I think. I mean the Nginx, the Ubuntu server, AWS, EC2, all things. So yeah, that would be a really interesting topic to discuss. But let's take a pause on the technical perspective and let's go back to college. And do you mind telling that if you had any bad experiences in college with any kind of any professors?
Not as in specific, like I've been very lucky throughout my 4 years, I would say, and right now. So I have never faced any problem as such in my college days or now in corporate. But it was all about enjoyment and fun, I would say. A lot of learning those days and now too. But those days it was more about fun and less about just digging things into it. So yeah, that is something I would say.
Okay, so I mean, did you copied your assignments and gave proxy and all that stuff?
Yeah,
Have you done all
I
that
would say
stuff?
not. I would say not in first year, but from second year onwards, yeah, I did copy a lot of assignments. Like,
Yeah, in first year we're
I,
like an ideal student. Like I have to do all the things that professor gave us. And in the second year, we used to realize that, oh no, this assignment doesn't mean anything. So I will just copy paste it.
instead, I uploaded my friend's assignment a couple of times instead of mine, and never
Yeah,
got
we
caught.
just crop
I
the
would say
name
I
and
was
just submit it.
yes. I would say I was lucky enough to not being caught.
Actually, let me tell you a secret. Actually, I talked to a professor about this, and he was like really friendly. So he said that we know that you copied your assignment. We don't say anything, but that doesn't mean we don't know.
No
So
anything.
it was
Right, right, right.
fine. Yeah. So yeah, and before college, I mean, how was your plus one, plus two?
Plus one, plus two has been, really tedious, I would say. It was the phase where I was preparing for IITs and such stuff, and without doing any, long distance schooling or dummy, what we say now. It was like till 2 a.m., till 2 p.m. I'm in school, and from 3 to 8 p.m. I'm at my coaching center. So very tedious, I would say. Those days I don't want to recall. I was just sleeping in my classroom. Teachers were scolding, and in the evening, I was in the coaching center. So that was something that I won't want to recall. But yeah, I had fun when I was in my drop year. Had a lot of fun. Maybe that
Okay,
was the
so
reason I.
you did drop a year.
Yes, yes, yes. I did drop a year.
Okay. So it was really fun to know, because I thought that I should take a drop, but then I thought, no, चलो कर लेते हैं, admission ले लेते हैं, जो भी होगा निकल जाएगा. I was like this. So, I mean, in my plus two, I enrolled in a coaching institute. I don't know if I can take any names or not, but I won't take any names. So there was this thing. They had two classes every year, every week. I mean, every week. So their classes length were 2 hours per subject, and we have to go there for 6 hours altogether for a day. So it was like I was going there at 9 a.m. and I was coming back home at like 5 p.m. So my total weekend was consumed by the institute itself. And after that also, my all India rank was 75,000.
Oh,
So I was like, there is no benefit. I could have take the rank by myself. I mean, they didn't help me in any way because I used to go there and I used to sit in the backbench, and we had a group like 4 or 5 people. We're talking about the teacher, like what he is teaching or what is he trying to teach. We are not able to understand anything because we enrolled in 12, so we missed the total 11 part, and everything more or less everything in class 12 syllabus it was related to 11. So I was like, no, I can't understand anything.
yeah. That's always a phase in
So
everyone's life, I would say.
yeah, there are a lot of comments for you. I will show them on screen. So you will
Yeah.
see.
Harshit, my party नहीं दी अभी. You'll get the party, Harshit. Get the party soon.
Okay, so now we have the, I mean, proof that he will give you parties. So I can assure you that. Also, this,
भाई मुझे भी credit दे. Yeah, he's the guy for my positive mood always. He's the most friendly guy you'll ever find on the planet Earth, I would say.
yeah, everybody has that one guy because
Yeah,
I know that sometimes it gets pretty dark around ourselves. We used to think that we can't do anything. So yeah, we need that kind of guy who can cheer us up.
yeah, definitely.
So, can you tell me how do you get into, I mean, front end development, or did you get into that after joining Razor? Or before that, you were also doing front end development?
No, so I would say initially in second year, or it would be good if I say the last of the second year, in the end of the second year, I started exploring different things. Not only front end, it's about web development in front end, back end, and then also in on Android development as well. But front end was something that I found very interesting to work on, and just proceeded to on that. Then came the COVID, but I would say it was a golden era for me. I got plenty of time to learn new things, including Flask and XYZ,
Same
React.js,
pinch.
etc. etc. Yeah.
Yeah,
So got a few internships, good internships, I would say, during the COVID time. Learned a lot, and that was really very helpful when I interviewed for Razorpay. So I experienced a lot of things. I had in my internship for a backend as well as front end, but front end was something that suited me well. By coding the तेरा मैंने ही सिखाई थी credit थी. So he's the third one in our group. The the there's always a guy who is the most smartest in the entire group. So he's the one.
yeah. Okay, got it. So you are the next. We will reach out to you if you can give us time. I mean, you are the smartest, so it will be hard to keep you. Yeah. So you were saying,
Yeah. So that was something. So learned a lot those days. Made a lot of projects, not cool, just the basic ones to clear my concepts, I would say.
got it.
So that was the time that I think COVID really helped me. Although it was not a good phase, I would say, but it was helpful for me.
Yeah, on that note, actually, COVID was helpful to a lot of students. I would say
Yeah,
that because I have my personal experiences because there was no college. I mean, there were online classes, but they were not of any use because professors didn't know how to take online classes. From the after that, they came to the familiar concept called online class. But before that, they were like sending us voice notes on WhatsApp, uploading videos on YouTube for teaching us. So we took that time, and I mean, I took the time. I learned React.js and Angular and all that stuff. So I would say that really helped me a lot too. Not only you, but there were a lot of people who really helped themselves in the COVID era,
yeah,
and there were remote jobs and all that stuff. There were I mean, I would say there are two digitalization. First one when the Geo came out, and the second one during
hmm,
the COVID, because people get
definitely.
to explore a lot of opportunities, not only inside India but outside India also. Because I don't know if you follow the guy or not. There is a YouTube channel called Kunal Kushwaha. So he introduced many people to remote work. Like work, you are sitting in India, but you are working for a company outside India, and the pay is like according to their country. So this is a lot of pay. So yeah, I would say that COVID really helped a lot of students on that note. Uh,
Yeah,
but uh, But yeah, I remember that you mentioned that you gave three exams for Razorpay interview. So
Yes,
any of them contain DSA, data structure and algorithms.
not for me. I would say not for me.
Okay.
As I said, I've been very lucky throughout my, you know,
Yeah,
BTech and
it,
then
it's
getting the
now
job.
clear that you are very lucky. It's really clear now.
Yeah, I
Okay.
wasn't asked any DSA, but my process was more focused on JavaScript. As I applied for the front end role, but the guys who applied for the back end role, their process was entirely tilted towards back end. I would say, sorry, back end. It was more focused on DSA. Entire 2 rounds for DSA, and third was the basic HR round. So for
Okay.
them,
Got
I
it.
feel really sorry someday sometimes.
So there is a question for you. Uh,
Mhm.
you can just read
So
it out.
as being a front end developer, how you feel when a designer make a design which completely against you the design gets. Well, I can't say anything, but that is a problem that every front end developer sees. But you eventually you get things just work done. So yeah,
Yeah. So have you done anything like that? Like in CSS, you have to keep a margin, and the margin is not matching according to the Figma, and you give like 37.8 pixel and something like that. Just hard coded it.
happen, happens all the time.
Yeah. So that is the fun part of, I mean, designing the front end. So,
So,
how the things work at Razorpay? Like, if you receive a new project, so
mhm.
do you create a project, or do you senior create a project and set up ESLint and all that stuff and give you the report? How that works?
So it's been both. When I joined Razorpay, the projects were already set up. So I was just given a code base and had a basic walkthrough. Then started to work on that code base, building new products and just building things and then going live and production. Learned a lot about those days. But later on, when I switched team to my current team, there was no repos and nothing. So had it set up with my one of my seniors. You know Looked at everything, how a repo is being set up and the entire process, and believe me, it's very tedious. I would say setting up
Yeah,
something
actually,
is much harder than maintaining, or I would say, working on building
yeah,
something
because
on it.
you are giving your every inch of effort in the setting itself, because you don't have to do
Yes.
anything else for that. I remember one time I did the same thing, and I didn't knew the packages name itself. Like there were ESLint, there was Prettier, there was Husky, and all that stuff. I was like amazed that people are using this kind of stuff. And when I used to do my personal project, I just used to create React app and push it to the main branch, and everything is done.
So that is, I would say, that is the basic thing that every developer does when he creates his own projects. NPX create React app. That's it. Your project is set up. But this doesn't happen when you work in a corporate, or you work on
Okay.
something that is going to be in production after some months or some time.
Yeah, I can understand that. So now again, let's come backward, and let's say that I know that you are from computer science branch. I am from electronics branch. Okay.
Hmm.
So do you think that there is a gap in the that engineering colleges supply every year and market demand, or the IT demand in the current scenario? I'm talking only about India. So I mean, do you have any friends in the other branches that they feel the same way? Like what they're taught in colleges in their core branches is not required in the actual field.
Yeah, I would say there are few of my friends who were from electronics branch and different branches, and right now working in pretty much very good companies. I would say IT sector. One of them being in upstocks and stuff. So I would say having a different branch is not a problem, but you'll have to work harder. If you're in computer science, you are just studying things that will that will be helpful to you in the upcoming interviews and some stuff. But when you are in, let's say, electronic branch, you not only have to study the electronics just to pass semester, but also you'll have to study about computer science and do different things because you want to go in that area, in that sector. So it is more about working hard, but not about having any sort of issues and problems, I would say. There are multiple folks from different branches in our company itself. So I don't see it as a problem. It's just about that you will have to work things out.
No, actually, wanted to ask is, as someone is, for example, someone is in mechanical branch. So what happens is he is learning about mechanics and all that stuff that that is not required in the IT field. So there
Right.
are two options that he can do. He can either come into the IT field. For that, he have to learn it himself, or the data structure algorithm, or the front end, or back end, or DevOps, whatever he wants. And or what he can do, he can just learn the code and go to the code branch jobs. So, for example, mechanical engineering jobs. But the thing is, in India currently, there are not such mechanical engineering job or electronics job. Not in not as many jobs as we have in the IT field.
Right.
So, do you think that this can improve, like in near future? Like there will be multiple openings in for other branches also.
Yeah, definitely. I would say India is growing. Won't go into much about that, but India is growing, as we all know. There's definitely going to be a time when other branches will just boost out. But computer science is a branch, is a field that I would say that will continue to grow up, as I can see in the upcoming futures. But about other branches,
Yeah.
there's definitely not right now, but in upcoming future there is definitely a scope, I would say. But for now, I'll say computer science is just ruling things out.
Yeah, according to, as you said, but recently there is a, I guess people are calling it tech bubble burst. So, do you have anything to say on it? The
Sorry.
stocks price are, there is a thing called tech bubble burst. So, what is happening? The bigger companies like Facebook, or as we can say, Meta, Spotify, their stock prices are decreasing, and also they are going through a hiring freeze. Like people who have received their offer letters has been rescinded, and they are not allowed to join the company. So, do you have anything to say on this matter? Like, will this continue, or will this over? Or we will be over with this soon?
I don't see it getting over soon. I would say I'm very sorry about it. It might extend up to next year as well, but it would be something that would be happening to a lot of folks, especially freshers, I would say, because if company would be hiring, they would be looking for someone who's experienced, and a lot of freshers would be impacted by it. But this would be the time where you can learn a lot of things and outgrow yourself. This is all about This is not about if you're a fresher or if you're an experienced guy. Or obviously, experienced guy is hired because not he has experience, but because he is far more knowledgeable about things than a fresher, I would say, in general terms. But a fresher may also make his a place at a company during these days if he or she might outgrow the other folks that he or she might be competing with. So I would say just don't get stuck to something that you are working on. Just try to explore other things as well, because keeping yourself in stuck to something is what I would say ki right now not the correct thing you would be doing. So just like I would again say that I've been lucky that I got to explore backend as well along with front end. So been contributing to started contributing to backend as well. So this is the time, as one of my seniors said, kid, you should keep learning if you want to sustain in IT sector.
Yeah, on that note, as you say, you started with front end and then you came in back end.
Right.
But
Right.
there are some opinions on this. I one thing I follow that if you are learning something, then you should explore it in a deeper manner. Like I learned React.js. Then now we have something called Remix, Next.js, Civil, Solid.js, Angular, and I can go on with the names. So, do you think that is it needed to, grow in one area or grow in every area? For a
So
fresher,
see,
considering he is a fresher and he don't have any practical knowledge or what kind of things are there in, IT sector. So he just enrolls in a company and he started learning React.js and he start learning every other framework in that field only. So would you suggest that, or would you suggest that with React.js you should also explore backend and all that stuff?
see, I won't say keep doing what you're doing, or just don't explore other things. That would be not something I would point on. But what I would like to say is you are correct up to an extent. If you are doing something, let's say you are learning React.js, and you may want to go deeper into it, dig deeper. So that is always something. I have started contributing to backend. That doesn't mean that I have completely left front end. I
Yeah.
will I will also be doing front end. I'll be exploring things in front end as well. But currently, my most of the contributions would be for back end, just to get things well known. Just knowing the front end in an organization will, you will know. I would say, you know the product half. If you are, let's say, I would say, if I take myself in right now, if I wouldn't have been started to back doing back end, I would say ki, uh, I I know the product that I'm working on, but not entirely. If I come to what exactly it is doing behind the scenes, I would know what what APIs have been called, or let's say, in the very simpler layman terms, what APIs have been called, how the design looks, and how things work. But what behind those APIs is something that I will miss out definitely. So
Yeah,
starting to work on the back end, I would say ki I would also get to learn how APIs would work, how things work as a whole, as a complete package, not just about two single packages. I won't say keep pushing yourself to different things. Let's say you are into front end, you started learning back end, and after a week you say, like, I'll start to learn, let's say, Android. So that is not something I would say. Start something, finish it. By finishing it, I mean get a grip on it, that you can slowly then go in deeper, get knowledge about different things that's been released. Then you can start on to different things. Let's say you are working on React.js. You learn React.js entirely. Not entirely. You can never do that, I would say. You
yeah,
learn React.js. You learn React.js. Make some projects on it. Explore things. Once you get your hands comfortable on it, you can just don't completely switch to backend. Let's say you start to learn Java and Spring Boot. I say so. You start to create some stuffs on Spring Boot, and also parallelly, if something comes new to front end, let's say React is related to React.js or JavaScript, just go through it once and you'll be updated. You'll just keep yourself updated, is what I mean to say. It's not just about throwing hands here and there. So
yeah.
if you're into front end, that's very good. Keep exploring that. But once you feel comfortable in it, once you think that things are getting repeated, you can start to explore something new, is what I would want to say.
Yeah, true. That is totally true, and I can agree with you because after a certain point, if you keep learning only things in one field, they will keep repeating itself. I mean, I
Yes.
face it, so I can understand. And yeah, this is totally true statement. Yeah. So after
in
that,
a
I
sim- Mhm.
yeah, you can go ahead.
in a simple sentence, I would say, don't keep yourself in a loop.
Yeah, true. So now, if we can go ahead after the college, then now in my college, campusing is going on for fourth year. So there were certain companies that hire for a very low package. I won't
Mhm.
say they're low package; they're low for me, but they are not low for some other people. They can't be low. Either they won't go for that. So the thing is, for example, take a company Infosys. Okay, so in Infosys Kolkata office, I was talking to some people, and they were saying that there are not many project people are on bench and all that stuff, and they can't leave also currently. So, do you have anything to say on the? I mean, not really on service-based company versus private company and product-based company. I am just talking to about like mass hiring thing. So, is the mass hiring is really good thing, or do you agree with it or don't agree with it on that?
See, I would say getting into mass hiring is better than sitting blank. You will definitely get to learn things there about, if I come about packages, or this is a time where you should look more into getting into a corporate. No, it doesn't matter if it's a product based company or if it's a service based company. It doesn't really matter. It's right now. This is a time where you get yourself enrolled in a company, learn things, and later on you can switch to wherever you want to go. Like, just don't keep yourself blank, is what I mean to say. It's not right now the
Yeah, but
time about.
after joining, I mean, what happens? I mean, what happens to many people after joining? For example, after 6 months of training, they don't crack a exam, and they
Mhm.
just, I mean, they just got their, what can I say? The people, I mean, companies say that we don't need you now, as you don't pass the exam. So their 6 months is wasted. They can just invest it this 6 months in themselves, like learning something that they love. So
So see,
that
when you
person,
say 6 months of training, Okay, I won't say that would go into vain. 6 months of training means you definitely learn something. You might have not been able to crack the paper you wanted to crack to get that job. That might be something, but 6 months of training definitely means 6 months of learning. But what the guy did wrong was when he was in the period of 6 months of learning, if he didn't apply to some other company, some other openings, that was his mistake.
Yeah,
Not getting the job wasn't his mistake. It was just a process where company didn't needed 10 people, let's say, and 10 people were into training. Company needed two people, so they selected two of them, two of the best of them. But the mistake was to not trying to not applying to different firms, different job offers that are being open right now. I would say if you open any company's career page, any companies, there is always an opening.
yeah,
Yeah. So I would say if you're in a training period where you don't have an offer letter in your hand, you're into training period, or let's say you're an intern there and your PPO hasn't been rolled out yet. So the best option would be to keep applying to different firms. Not only that will add because you are also getting yourself trained in a corporate sector, you can add that in resume. That would add definitely add a weight. But because you are in a sector, you are in a corporate, you can definitely use the gains and knowledge in your interviews, definitely. So that is something I would say, keep applying to different firms. Whenever you see a job openings, keep yourself updated about on the LinkedIn is the best source, I would say, about anytime there is a hire opening. You will see an person posting it out on LinkedIn or Twitter, I would say, sometimes. But keep yourself updated with the job roles. Keep applying to different job roles. uh, don't stay in a in a thinking that I am into training and I would definitely get this job. That is definitely a positive thinking, I would say, but don't get overconfident on it. Don't just rely on it. Keep applying to different firms. If you get just in case if you get a better offer, like let's say current company offers you, let's say, 5 lp of package, or let's say 15 lp package, and you'd apply to some other firm that gives let's say 20 lp package. That is a better offer. You'll
yeah.
not only miss out 20 lpa, but you didn't actually get a PPO. So you will be missing two things, not one, if you stay in that mental state.
True. As you said, I mean, LinkedIn is a best source, but don't you think that LinkedIn is too much blocked these days? I mean, too much ads
Yes,
and
yes,
irrelevant
yes,
stuff and all that.
yes. That is definitely true. LinkedIn is not right now what it was before. What it was
Yeah,
earlier.
2, 3, or 4 years ago.
Yes,
I
yes, yes.
created an account 4 years ago, so I saw the post like people are posting stuff about knowledge and how they cracked the interview. And now I open LinkedIn. The first 10 posts were why I was not able to crack the interview. These are the posts that are at the top of my feed.
See, things worked out for some person. That doesn't mean that thing would work out for you.
Yeah,
Definitely, there are two things. He is the separate person. His preparation strategy has been completely different. you know he's been in a separate college. His campus placements have been entirely different. He was into something, but you're into other thing. Let's say he was into front end, and he really pushed himself into it. You can't comprehend those things in words that you see in LinkedIn. Let's say a person wrote that I did xyz and cracked this xyz company. You did the same thing.
I mean,
It's not.
I was talking about like people are. I mean, I don't know the perfect word, but I can say motivated. People these days are motivated with the stuff that what didn't work out for some. I mean, there were people who post like they see me for my body and posting their own picture, irrelevant stuffs, and also the
See,
roadmaps. There are too many
see,
number of roadmaps. Yeah.
see, what I'd say is, just create an Excel sheet. Like, this is what I did. Write down the companies that you want to apply for. Just not don't rely on LinkedIn itself. Go on the career page, check out the roles, and keep yourself updated about the roles. LinkedIn is not the only source. The best source would be to go to the career page, and the other source could be you reach out to folks who might want to help you. Okay. Let's say you want to apply to Adobe. You just get yourself connected to some engineer at Adobe. Just uh, just tell him that XYZ, whatever you are working on. Okay. What is your skill set? You send him your resume. If you are asking for referral, or you can just tell him to guide you or inform you whenever there is an opening. At the simultaneously, you also keep yourself updated via the career portal.
yeah,
Is that what I would say? Because see, LinkedIn, it might be possible that you wanted a job at Adobe for, let's say, software engineer role. The role got opened. Okay, someone posted that on LinkedIn, but that post reached you too late. So that is also something. You saw the post when you tried to apply for the link. You see that the link has been expired. It has been, many situations with many such situations with me myself. So not specifically Adobe. That's just an example, but other firms too. So that is something I would say. Just don't keep yourself, up to LinkedIn. Ki, acha, theek hai. LinkedIn will. I will see the post on LinkedIn. I don't need to see any other, resources or sources. I would say
yeah, that doesn't work.
get yourself connected to, some person. Let's say there are many folks who reach out to me like, this is I applied to this XYZ company, and I was not shortlisted, right? So don't see that you were not shortlisted. I would say yeah, that is something to keep in mind. But what you want to focus more on is ki where did you made mistake, right?
That's a very valuable lesson.
Always ask for feedback. See, this is something that I have been listening a lot from my seniors also, and it has been very helpful for me. Always ask for feedbacks. If there's a positive feedback, that's very good. But there's a negative feedback, try to improve it. Ask him that how can I improve that this XYZ thing that I'm doing wrong, that I'm consistently doing wrong. So that is something, every guy in the tech field should be careful about. So
Yeah, got it. So I don't know if you can remember it or not. I mean, 5 6 months ago there was a post war between two kind of groups. One group was saying that experience doesn't matter, and one group saying was experience matter. And they were showing like they need people in for React.js who have 8 years of experience. And many companies like small startup to big companies, they were hiring developers who have minimum of 3 to 5 years of experience. So do you have anything to comment on it, like where will then freshers will I mean apply for the companies? Freshers who
sorry.
want to go off campus, freshers who prefer off campus interviews, they can't apply to any company because the minimum experience they require are 3 years, and I don't have that. So how will I reach out to the companies?
See, what I can say is, uh, directly applying to off campus, there's always a thing like experience always comes into your way. See, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 8 years, or whatever. But there are other things also that are into market right now. D2C is one thing. You can just compete and you can participate in a hackathon. There are a number of folks, who participated in a hackathon and just got a job from there.
Yeah.
That is very convenient because that completely tested your skills and you are into the corporate because of your skills and not because of your experience. Definitely experience brings you skills, but skills is something that doesn't require experience. It can also be attained if you work hard. So definitely there is always an issue that freshers, I know I have also faced this, but I didn't face it as much as people are facing now because of all this, recession and whatever things are going on
Yeah.
in the market right now. So just there's one thing I would say, ki, just keep yourself motivated, positive, keep working hard, and things will go right when they want it to be.
So that is a very good thing to note down. Uh, it will help a lot of people because who are going through this phase. I mean, it's really depressing because I am applying to a company, and then after 5 minutes I receive a mail that you are not shortlisted for the next round, and that is also automated mail, not a reply from someone. Yeah, that is really heartbreaking. So, and I mean, on your first internship, so you have done internships. So, how did you get your first internship?
So see, back then what I used to do was I'm not very good at surfing things. So I just used to type on Google key internships in 2021, and for the role I want to apply for freshers, I used to get a multiple. There's a Google portal. The
Yeah.
first thing you apply, the first thing you search, you get when you search for internships is a Google portal that gives you
Yeah.
multiple openings related to that role. So I started to apply each role that fitted me well. So apply it to Google portal itself, go through Google itself, Insta Hire and Internshala. These were three portals that I applied through a lot. Got my first two internships through Internshala itself. So I would say just don't keep applying through, via company portal. Also keep yourself updated about these different things. You know, Insta Hire is something, and there is this Internshala. These are very helpful when you want to get yourself some experience via internship. So I would say this has been very helpful for me Internshala especially because got my very first internship paid internship via Internshala itself, and the tech stack was what I wanted to be. It was React.js plus Flask. So definitely
Okay, so
in
you
those days
work on Flask also. I mean, you
yes,
know
yes,
that
yes.
you Python.
Yes, as I said, I explored different things in the beginning
Got
before
it.
coming in entirely in the front end field. So I also worked as a software engineer intern at Correlations where I worked on Flask as well as React.js. So learned a lot about, and the DB that we use was MongoDB. So at that time I was not familiar with MongoDB and how things work there. Learned things and just worked on it.
Yeah, so that actually happens in software field. Like when you change a company, you are introduced to a lot of new packages that you have to learn to start working. And they say that this is a code base, go through it and start working on it from tomorrow itself. And you have to learn all the things in one single day. And it is a lot of pressure on the guy.
See, there are
So
always
yeah,
two things. You can either do some course or read some book, and after once you are comfortable with that language, you can work on it. Or you can just go the hard way. You can learn while you work.
that's the cool part of this job. I mean,
Yes.
it's like 5 minutes before I didn't knew what this is doing, and 5 minutes after I am using it itself. So yeah. And have you ever tried working on the design field, like in Figma or anything like that?
No,
Have you
not
considered?
yet. Not yet. Like till now, I've been getting designs like this is a design, and I've been working on it.
It, that's like, I mean, the design to the first build that we do. I mean, on the UI perspective, that's, I mean, the tougher than API integration or the functionality that we do. I mean, according to me only. I mean, I got a lot of things like our QA tester used to do that. This button is the spacing between two buttons are not correct, or this the model is not going out by itself. Like there were a lot of things, and they were the bugs they were showing me. They're all related to UI, not any functionality part. Functionalities are working okay. But I was saying that this is something that people can understand. The QA tester was saying to me like, people are not coders; they are laymen. They don't understand this kind of stuff. So yeah, I learned this thing on my job only. I mean, before that I used to create a project for myself, for my personal use. So what was happened? I know that this button, if I click the button, the project will break. So I won't click the button. But then what was happening? Then what was happening? Right, people were clicking buttons and they were redirected to this field. So they were saying me that this is not working. How to change it? I mean, I was saying that no, people will understand. What is there to understand? They have just to change it, and they were saying this is not how people work. So
So
that
for
just
me, it
learned
has
a lot of.
been a little. For me, it has been a little different. I would say. For me, the hardest part was the API integration, but
Okay, so
not the front end designing part. The hardest part for me
everybody
was
have their own hurdles. So I
yes,
would
yes,
say,
yes.
and I mean, uh, have you? I mean, do you have anything to say about the Bangalore flood that is happening now?
Uh,
This is not a laughing matter, but yeah, I am asking it.
so I'll again say I've been lucky enough. to come out of Bangalore before all of this happened.
You're a really lucky guy. I mean, I have to say, like, whenever I say something bad, that you are not there. I mean, you're the most lucky guy I've ever met till now. I mean, really.
I, I just came out of Bangalore back to home, when all of these things started, before even
Start.
knowing कि अच्छा flooding is there. One of my friend called me and told कि यार flooding हो रहा है यहाँ पे, क्या करे, तू तो निकल गया. I was
हाँ
like,
बहुत ही
तू भी
बड़ा हुआ
निकल
है.
जा. Yes, definitely. So I would say कि I also saw a post where someone posted on LinkedIn. Okay, it is now not about work from office, work from home. It's more about work from bridge. And there was a photo of a guy working on a bridge itself. So
Yeah.
I would say not a good thing. I like for the 3 4 months I was in Bangalore, but never saw any waterlogging thing there. Although there I have seen water shortage issues, but waterlogging issue has been something that I have never seen in those 3 to 4 months of my stay in Bangalore. But now when I see the photos and all of that, I can say ki very bad news to hear about.
As we're talking about Bangalore, so can you tell us about the expenditure that you had in Bangalore? Like, if a fresher goes to Bangalore for his first job, and let's say if his package is between 5 to 6 LPA, then can he, I mean, do all his expenditure in that?
Definitely, definitely, for sure. Like it's about how you expense, right? For me, back when I used to intern for 3 4 months, my income was not a lot. I would say it was quite lesser than my father's salary. So, but still, I managed. I had the trips and had a lot of stuff. You get things figured out. I I opted for a PG instead of a flat because it was far more comfortable, very close. That would save me, travel expenses as well, and was very cheap. So so this is how you manage things. The most expense that you can, the most money that you would expend in Bangalore would be on staying and on traveling. Traveling expenses are, I would say, I feel it like useless, but somehow it's very high. Traveling expenses, like there was a guy who was asking me like 250 to 300 rupees for just 2 kilometers, that I could just walk.
That's a
So
crazy amount.
expenses are very high. Yeah. So try to look for a PG or just the living space near your office that you will be going on daily basis, because traveling is something that would eat up a lot of amount, I would say. Or just cab service is very poor, I'd say, very poor. I was like
Yeah,
literally
I mean, the
standing there
traffic
for.
is also not good. Yeah.
The traffic is terrible. I would say terrible. For 2 kilometers, you would be, if it's a rush time, in the morning time or in the evening time when the office, closes. So those are the times when you will be stuck into traffic like for an hour, half an hour, and for like 1 hour for just 2 kilometers of short trip. It would take you around 1.5 hour or something like that. I have been there, like just sitting in an auto and just looking outside at when will this traffic get clear.
Got it. And I mean, I had a question in mind, but I just forgot it. Uh, but as we're talking about Bangalore, so I mean, I saw this kind of post like people were saying if you can't go to Bangalore on your first days, I mean after passing out, then you can't go to Bangalore after that. So do you
No,
think
no,
this
no,
is
no,
true?
definitely no. This is definitely not the case. Definitely not the case. I would like neglect this completely. This is not the
Yeah,
correct statement,
ये
I would
सुनने
say.
में ही
If
थोड़ा
you are,
उल्टा घटिया लग रहा है.
I would say कि if you can't come to Bangalore now, you'll definitely come to Bangalore tomorrow.
That's something we should note down.
Yes.
It's a very good tagline.
See, it is definitely a thing. If you're not in Bangalore today, you will definitely be there some days after. If you keep on, working, if you just stay at some place, that is never gonna happen. That you come to Bangalore. If you get yourself stuck into some place, if you keep on exploring things, keep on learning things, just
Yeah,
keep pushing yourself and get yourself out of the comfort zone, you are definitely coming to Bangalore. Just there was a meme like, "आप Mumbai नहीं आ सकते, but you can come to Bangalore."
yeah, yeah. So yeah, so and also I mean there were I mean I live in Kolkata. So I am saying this because I read a news yesterday or the day before. They were saying that many companies were planning on opening their offices in Kolkata and they bought lands and all that stuff. So I mean,
Yes,
if they open their offices here, then I don't even have to go Bangalore. I can just work from there itself.
but I would say just I would really appreciate if people, come to Bangalore sometime. It's a beautiful place, I'd say. Beautiful
Yeah,
weather,
actually, we
most
can see
happening
a
place,
lot
I
of
would say.
hustle there. Yeah, we can see people hustling. Like there was a meme. Like if you're stuck in traffic with a auto person, then he will pitch you startup ideas. This kind of memes were trending on LinkedIn. So actually, this is true, and I agree with this because I mean, in our college life, I mean, I belong to a tier 3 college. I will say my college name, but you won't recognize it. So no point in saying that. And that is true. And our college means nothing to us, to be honest. And they didn't even supported us in our journey and all that stuff. And there is also gender discrimination against the male guys, not on the female guys. So there is a lot of thing happening. Like professors were saying not to take a job on because that will affect our studies, and we are studying because to crack a job. Like they have a reverse psychology in some way. I don't know how to say it, but yeah, they have. And
And I think what they wanted to say is, if the package is low, you should try to crack, go higher.
बट कॉलेज में अगर किसी को 7 डिजिट का सैलरी मिल रहा है तो उससे हायर क्या ही हो सकता है.
Definitely, if you're not in a mood to go for the higher study, then you should definitely take it, I would say.
Yeah, true. I mean, we have enrolled in engineering because after 4 years we need a job, right? We can agree on it, we can disagree on it, but this is true. 90% of the engineering students want a job after college, and some of them who has money and all that stuff, they can go for higher studies. There is no problem with it. But yeah, and also, I mean, I'm saying it because यहाँ पे क्या होता है, आप कॉलेज गए पूरा दिन क्लास में प्रोफेसर आते हैं पीपीटी चलाते हैं वो रीडिंग पढ़ते हैं चले जाते हैं बस यही होता है कॉलेज में कुछ नहीं होता मतलब कोर सब्जेक्ट्स भी उतने अच्छे से नहीं पढ़ाते जितना बोलते हैं बस कॉलेज नाम का ही है कुछ सीखने को नहीं मिलता उतना अच्छे से. I just enrolled it because I have to take my graduation degree from somewhere and let it be here. So that was my psychology before enrolling into my college. So yeah,
See,
actually, excluding the top tier colleges like NITs, IITs, and some government colleges, all the private colleges are the same. I mean, they just
see,
show
I
that
can
they have
say
all
ki
the.
I can just count on my finger the numerous number of people who are not from ITs and ITs, and from
Yeah, true.
colleges that you won't ever hear in your life, wouldn't ever heard of in your life, and
That
are
is what I'm saying. Yeah.
worst of the worst colleges, but still they are into very good product-based companies.
Yeah, for
See,
example, you can take
do
Stivers. Like he is also from not a very famous college, but he is in Google now. So yeah,
yeah.
people are cracking it. Yeah,
See, it's about working things out, I would say. Like few days back, someone, I heard this a lot that this guy got lucky and got into corporate sector, got a job and X, Y, Z, and he's picking up, let's say, 1 lakh salary, 2 lakh salary per month. But few days back, someone said to me, and just it was a very good thing that I heard about was if you are in a corporate and company is paying you, it means you are able to manage things, and that is what corporate means. It's about managing things and learning things.
so I mean, I was going to ask about imposter syndrome, but I mean, you just answered it. So
So
let's
I
move
would say
forward.
ki you might get lucky to get into a corporate, but if you are in it and company is keeping you, then there's something that you are doing there, right?
Yeah, true, true. I mean, yeah, people can say that you got lucky, but nobody gets lucky. Even if it is on-campus opportunity, they are cracking it on their own. I mean, they hustled it for. They
Right.
deserve it. Yeah. So on this, I can really relate it to a meme. Like, have you seen Silicon Valley?
Oh,
So in Silicon Valley, there is a character called Big Ed. So the company was keeping him just to compete with their competitors because the competitive company was his friends. So Big Ed was the guy. His friend started a company which was competing with Big Ed's company. So Big Ed's company was paying him 600,000 per year just to keeping him there. And after 2 years, he got compensated of $20 million.
Wow.
So he was the luckiest guy ever. I mean, that's a dream. I mean, if someone is giving me money for staying in this or staying there, I'm happy to take it.
Definitely.
Yeah,
It's like पैसा किसको
yeah.
नहीं प्यारा है.
What that. So as we are at the end of this session, so this is my last question to you. What is your package?
Well, I can't really disclose, exact figures, but I would say
Yeah,
कि uh, the exact number, the figure lies between 13 LPA to 18 LPA plus some X amount of ESOP for SD1 fresher, is what I'll say. And I'd say that is enough, the breakout of it would be, you'll be happy when you
that
get
is
yourself,
more than
your account
enough.
credited. Yes. When you see yourself, your account getting credited, you'll be happy to see the amount, I would say.
True. So before ending it, I am just saying it on live because I want to record it. So after this session, I will send you my resume and you have to refer me if there is an opening.
Definitely. I wouldn't promise referring you, but I'll surely give feedback if there is some.
So make sure.
Definitely.
So yeah, that was my last thing to say. So if you have anything, you can say me or you can just in the live.
I don't think there's anything that I want to add on. Like,
Or
if
if
you
you
have
have
something.
any, I mean, if you have any suggestion to give the freshers like who are in currently third year, who will be passing out next year. So if you have anything to say,
See, what I'll say is that patience is the key. See, I've seen a number of my juniors accepting offers which they later regret. Some people come to me saying that I'm being rejected when I sit in my interviews. What should I do? My reply remains the same to everyone. Maybe that wasn't the place you belong right now, or maybe you are not yet ready. Keep digging, see what went wrong. Always ask for feedbacks and improve yourself. This will lead you to the place you want to be.
so with that good note, we will just end our live here. And with
Yeah,
that, we just ended our first episode. So thank you everyone who are with us till